just did a synchronized clap. Not that we both have synchronized the clap.
We don't have the clap together.
Clap. Hey, Phil.
Hey.
How you doing?
Rianne, what's going on?
Not too much, not too much. We did some great photos. Actually, getting right into this, I thought about this all day, and even yesterday after the... So we took photos of Phil and his fiance yesterday here at Orchid House Studios, and they're looking beautiful already. I developed the film, and they look great. But I wanted to ask you, because you took an awesome photo of me that I'll show you also. I have it in my phone on the Mamiya RZ67, which is a medium format camera. And I wanted to know, because I feel this is, ooh, that's such a nice color too.
Yeah, this is a great whiskey, bro, or bourbon.
Okay, what's it called first of all?
Great Jones.
Great Jones. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second, but I want to get this out of my head. When you took the photo of me, you know, you took it with that Mamiya 7 camera, and you noticed like it was heavy, it was weird. It was like, did it like?
Yeah, it's weird to shoot with that thing. That's super. That's like super duper hipster camera.
Right, but did you enjoy it? Did it feel different than when you would do work with your regular digital camera?
Yeah, no, because you had to actually think.
Yeah.
That's the trade off with a lot of the film cameras. You actually have to think.
Yes.
You know.
And that's not to promote my own stuff, but my recent YouTube video that came out, which the link is in the description below, is all about how I think street photography is better on 35mm film than digital. But that's
I think when it comes to like shooting and stuff like that,
cameras. I get in trouble a lot for saying I'm going to shoot some kids tonight. I mean photos.
I think that when shooting street photography, I think that if you want to connect with the work, yeah, definitely shooting on a film camera. It's not like, because here's the thing, like, I don't call myself a photographer, but I get booked for photography gigs.
Then you're a photographer.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have an eye, but I don't have a great eye. And then I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm just spraying and praying.
Okay, I mean that's a term I've heard a lot of and stuff.
So
We've worked together, and you've always gotten some great stuff. The thing you're really good at too when we work together is you're even better than me at it. Is you get like, I always get the, hey, let's do a photo together. Let's get a photo of you. You got like, you interact. You get like something special out of them. That's why I think you would be great in the studio too.
So when I first started shooting, one of my tricks was just talking to the clients as opposed to asking them to pose.
Yep.
So I'd be like, yo, just tell me a story. Tell me something. What happened? You know, just tell me about this weekend. Tell me about something that felt good. And then you can get, you know, those emotions out of the person as opposed to like, okay, look serious, look pensive. No, tell me a story that, you know, requires emotion, and then you'll see that emotion come through, you know, in those photos. That's what I was doing early on when I was doing like headshot photography.
Right. But I mean, the photo you took of me came out great, and I was just curious of how it felt and what your thought process was after using it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely something that you had to think about. Like my biggest concern was like focus.
Yep.
You know, like am I focusing on his nose or am I focusing in the eyes? You know, that's you know, one of the biggest things that I know on like digital cameras. You know, DSLRs, they like pull back and forth between the nose and the eyes. So depending on, if you want a tack sharp image, you want to make sure it's focusing on the eyes, because that's what people will get pulled into. So
yeah. Well, it was a good photo. I like it a lot. It looks great, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. All right, let's talk about, what's it called again? Great Jones. I love this bottle too.
Yeah.
I gotta show this to Patrick because I love this like Great Gatsby kind of look.
Yeah, that's Gatsby. That's Gatsby-esque.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell me where you got it. I'm gonna drink it while you tell everybody where you got it. And
well, I got this bottle.
Right.
This specific bottle I got at Total Wine and
fucking love. There's a
Total Wine in Westbury, right by me. So I got it in Total Wine.
So it's
and they have a New York bourbon and whiskey section.
They do.
Yeah, because it's like a Walmart sized liquor store.
I love.
So like when you go in there, they have a whole section that's just, you know, whiskeys and bourbons and stuff, and then they have New York for whatever comes out of New York, and it's just like, you know, it's an aisle, just New York
That's
stuff.
Awesome. How much was this bottle?
I think this one was like 40. 40 is a good number.
Is that a 750?
This, yeah, 750.
That is beautiful.
So like, but this bottle was a replacement of the original bottle I had. I had two. I had their whiskey and I had this bourbon. And the first two bottles I got for my birthday 2 years ago.
Okay.
So Natalie took me to the Great Jones Distillery in New York City.
Gotta go there.
And I was able to go there for the experience, like the Great Jones experience. So so it used to be a speakeasy,
Of course.
and then
I'm guessing it wasn't a giant place.
it was pretty big. I'm pretty sure, like, over the years they've been able to buy the block, but like they had everything in there. They have the distillery, they had the big tank and everything like that, and then in the basement where the speakeasy stuff is, it looks. I mean, I don't know if it's like designed by like a set designer or if it's like what it used to look like, but it looks like an old school like speakeasy where it's like kind of like run down, repurposing like bourbon barrel stuff like that.
Okay.
And they, you go through like a whiskey flight, and then
Love it.
they tell you about it.
Do they have a bunch of different whiskeys? Yeah.
They do. I think they have a red label, they have this blue label, and they have a green label that I know of. I had all three.
What are the differences?
I think the green is rye.
Okay.
The red is whiskey, and then the blue is bourbon. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I want to go back. I want us to go. I want to
yeah.
go back, and I think we should like interview
Yeah.
them
love
and
that.
something like that.
love
That'd be so dope to go do an episode over there.
Oh yeah.
That'd be fucking dope.
That'd be great. That's something I'm going to work on for
Yeah.
sure to get us there and stuff. But this is great. Yeah, this kind of actually reminds me of when I was down in New Orleans and we went to the Cesarac.
Oh, okay. I know
Distillery.
Cesarac. I know
That
Cesarac.
was cool. Like that was like you go through the whole thing and you get little samples, like little flights, and then they have, the distillery and then how they brew it and how it came about. And it's so cool. It also reminds me a lot of when I was in Ireland and we went to the Guinness factory.
Oh, okay.
And like it's not just a factory. It's like the Willy Wonka experience. Crazy.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done like different tours of like liquor and beer. Like, so we went to the cruise. We did the Virgin cruise, and the cruise came out of Puerto Rico. So it docked back in Puerto Rico. So Natalie loves, like, when we go on vacation, we can't just do the vacation. It's like, let's take advantage of the fact that we're already here and tack on 3 more days of shit to do.
Yes.
So
you gotta.
So we didn't fly in the day of the cruise. We flew in the night before.
Right.
And then we did something in
Puerto Rico? Okay.
Yeah, that the day before we went like out, saw Old San Juan and stuff. And then after that, we went on the cruise and we came back, and then we spent another couple of days in Puerto Rico, right by the beach.
Nice.
And one of the days we were there, we went to the Bacardi distillery.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went to the Bacardi distillery, and then we got the tour of the
Distillery.
the tour of the distillery, but we also got to go into like the taste room, and you get to do flights of different types of rum.
Were you telling me that down there they have stuff that they don't have here?
Like what?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Patrick was telling me when we were in Amsterdam, when we were flying back, they have special alcohol over there that they don't sell in America because of like FDA regulations.
Probably.
So I'm sure they had that at the party.
They had, I mean, when you go over to a different country that sells like a liquor or something like that, there's always going to be an exclusive blend that is ridiculously priced. I didn't say overpriced, but it's ridiculously priced.
Right.
And then the hook is that you can't get it in the States.
Right.
Even like, and then there's other things that are like available like around the States that's not available in the States. Like I remember when like Hennessy Pure White came out, and like so many people were into it. I never got it. I had it.
Clear. What is Hennessy?
Hennessy Cognac.
Cognac, right.
And it's the Pure White. I don't know what 'cause I'm not into cognac. But like the Pure White was really big, like maybe 12 years ago, it like blew up, and everybody that was going to Caribbean would come back with like suitcases full of bottles.
The only thing I know about cognac, not cognac, but what's the main? Oh God, now it just
Crown Royal?
Crown Royal. Yes, thank you. Is their bottles are indestructible that you can knock out a person with their bottles?
Oh, you sound experienced.
I've seen TikTok.
Crown Royal comes in a purple velvet bag.
Right. Yeah.
That's fly.
I mean, you can reuse that bag for many things.
Yeah.
Lens carrier.
Yeah.
Nice and soft microfiber.
I feel like Crown Royal comes in like a gift box with like Newport cigarette stuff. Like that just gives me like those vibes.
Well, have you ever had cognac?
Yeah,
What?
I've had. There was a period where it was like I couldn't go out and drink if it wasn't Hennessy because like everybody around me was drinking Hennessy because it was so popular in hip hop.
What is it? What is cognac? What is it considered like? What kind of liquor is it?
No, that's the category.
So
It's
what?
cognac. So Crown Royal's a cognac. It's brown.
What is it like? Kind of close to.
It would be similar to like a Scotch or a bourbon. You know, like in that wheelhouse.
Is it
It's a sipper. It's a sipping drink. You drink it out of a snifter.
Great.
You're supposed to drink it out of a snifter.
Is it so big in the black community because it's black owned, or is it just?
Not so okay. So Hennessy, they were some of the first liquor companies that weren't black owned out of Europe that specifically marketed towards black people. Mm-hmm. Like there are a number of different brands and stuff during the 60s and 70s that were marketing towards black people. Hennessy's one of the first like prestige liquor.
Right.
Like for a long time, Hennessy was considered like the best of the best when it came to like cognacs. And then, there's a bunch of stories like that like in the black community, those things are heralded so high because of the access we had to it at the time as opposed to other companies. Like Pepsi's another one. Pepsi was huge in the black community because they were specifically marketing towards black people with black people in their advertisements and stuff like that, like early on, like I think the 40s and 50s.
That's funny.
Same thing with Cadillac. The reason why Cadillac is big in the black community is because Cadillac was the first American car brand to sell directly to black consumers and allow black entrepreneurs to open up dealerships that were selling Cadillacs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because they were struggling, and so was a bunch of other brands. But because black people couldn't buy cars, they weren't legally allowed to buy cars for a long time. A lot of times when like celebrities would have enough money, they would go and buy a Cadillac because it was prestigious at the time. But because they were so prestigious, they kind of priced themselves into like failure almost. And it was like on a like, look, let's just try to make some money somehow.
Yeah.
So they started like marketing to black people. And black people, because they couldn't put their money in banks, because they couldn't do a bunch of different things with their money, a lot of them sat on like thousands of dollars. Right. So it was like, okay, if I'm allowed to buy this car right now, I'm gonna buy the flyest shit.
See, that's crazy. Like I didn't even know that black people weren't allowed to buy cars.
Or not from a dealership, no.
Stuff like that. It's just.
Oh, no. There's a bunch of stuff that, like the laws that were in place, the Jim Crow laws that were in place nationally, like, carve black people out of stuff. Like you can buy a house in Levittown right now, depending on how how long the family's owned it. The deed still says that they're not allowed to sell to black people. Like that was just law.
My God. My goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, well, it's good.
Don't be uncomfortable.
I'm not uncomfortable.
Shake it off.
I'm not uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm learning.
It wasn't you.
I'm learning. I'm educating.
You weren't there.
I'm
educated. The argument that I would get from.
Get there until the 40s. That's it.
Yeah, no, but so like back to Great Jones. No, Great Jones.
This is very, very good.
It's very good.
Very smooth too.
I want to go back, and it's been too long since I've been there. I went there 2 years ago. I want to go back because it's like a dope experience. It's got a very cool like lounge vibe in there.
Nice.
It has like the dark wood, the rich mahogany
shelves.
Yeah, the leather bound books.
Yes.
Very very Anchorman-esque.
So you said what was the experience called? It's called the Great Jones Experience.
I think it's called the Great Jones Experience.
What was like the experience? Like,
so you get a tour of the distillation process.
Right.
You get a tour of the different levels of the facility, and then they tell you about the distilling process, and then you also get to do some like whiskey flights or bourbon flights, like depending on what you ask for.
I love this bottle.
Yeah, everything is dope. Like their whole branding is really, really cool.
I haven't been to your apartment in a little while. It's been probably, sadly, over a year since like your Friendsgiving that you had. Mm-hmm. Do you have like Patrick and I wish we had this in our apartment, but it's smaller. You know, we have that globe thing, but Patrick has a whole setup. Do you have like a whole setup of area for your liquors?
Yeah. So I have, it's like in the living room area, we have a bookshelf that's, you know, on top of the bookshelf is what I use for like all my alcohol.
See, I love that. Like that's, I really like, I love, I was gonna say, it sounds like an alcoholic statement, but I love alcohol and I love just like, but I love also like the like lifestyle and community behind it and stuff. Yeah, and it gives you a little fun buzz. But I love the bottle. I love the design. I love hearing about this and stuff like that. So
yeah, when I think we did on this last trip, we did 2 different liquor experiences because we were in.
You mean last trip, like
the last trip I went on, we went to Bacardi.
Oh yes,
and I think we went to, I forgot where the other one was. I forgot the other one.
Well, I will never forget the 2 bottles of rum you brought me back from Jamaica.
Yeah, the overproof rum. You got the Ray and Nephew. Yeah.
My God, I still have a hangover for
Ray
it.
and Nephew separates the men from the boys.
What's it called?
Ray and Nephew.
Ray and Nephew.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Ray and Nephew.
One brown and one white because that's what you gave me. You gave me a brown one and a white one.
Yeah, the white one is the more popular one, but it's
good. It was good.
It's good. Man. It's just it's not a toy. I know people that just sip that, like, which is crazy. Like I use it as a mixer. It's great for rum punch.
Oh,
it's great because overproof rum is great for rum punch. Okay. Oh, and when I was, where was I? So on the cruise, we stopped. I think we were in St. Thomas.
Okay.
I drank St. Lucia. We was in St. Lucia. We were in St. Lucia and we did an excursion. And in St. Lucia, they were a French territory, right? So
a lot of these places down there are.
Yeah. So like Haiti's French and St. Lucia's French. So they speak a Creole. Like we speak Creole in Haiti, they speak Creole in Louisiana, they speak a version of Creole in St. Lucia. So you got to listen to, like for me, I got to listen a little bit harder.
Right.
But like,
is it like slightly different?
Yeah, it's different. Okay. It's different because the language is like a gumbo of like French, some West African languages.
You've been to New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you must love New Orleans.
New Orleans is dope. Natalie loves New Orleans 10 times as much as I love New Orleans. New Orleans is a dope city.
So fun.
Like, I went in the wrong time.
Where'd you go?
I went in like November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but we were in St. Lucia. Like we were doing the tours and stuff like that. We went to the volcano. We got to do the mud bath and stuff. And then we went to the waterfall. We got to bathe in the waterfall. And then after that, we went to the beach. And when we were at the beach, they fed us, and then they had like rum punch. It was like rum punch on demand, but they were using like double proof rum.
Oh yeah, I think you told me this. You're like,
I got so sauced at the beach.
I've been there.
I couldn't even go to the party on the cruise that night. Like I got in my room, I got dressed, and then we went out, and I was like, babe, this is it. Natalie doesn't drink like that, so she had maybe 1 glass of rum punch. And then that was it. Me, I was calling the dude over. And then by the time we got to the beach, I had a reveal that I spoke Creole. So now it's like there's like a level of like, you my boy.
Give this guy a double.
Yeah. So he was just like, coming back for the stuff. Or I walk over there, he would just hand me the bottle. I'm like, you pouring your poison now.
What is it's like? I'm imagining it's like just like a fruit punch, or it's probably so good too.
It
so
is
fresh
good.
And tasty.
It is good. I'm sure they're using like a mixer, like because there's definitely like a rum punch mixer. They use it like on cruises and resorts, but this wasn't it. Oh. This was like a good punch, but it also had the double proof rum, and I don't think that they cut it with any water. It was just like the mixer and the rum.
I've seen Phil drunk. I know how he stumbles around. So.
The eyes get low. The eyes get low.
Yeah, the eyes get low.
Yeah, it was because it was like me and Andrea were drunk, and Natalie and Jeff were sober.
Andrea and Jeff, it's very funny. It's a very similar dichotomy to like you and Natalie. Like I could tell Andrea likes to have a good time, is a fun chick, and Jeff he definitely has a fun time. He's very much more reserved.
Yeah, Jeff is calculated.
Yeah.
Jeff definitely moves like he's being watched.
He's a genius. I mean,
he's a genius in his own right.
That he wrote all the he writes all the music, all the notes, and everything for the Philharmonic. Like I was like, oh, I didn't know this guy was a certified musical genius.
Yeah.
I knew he was smart,
He's
obviously.
yeah. At the same time, like he's one of these guys that he moves like he's being watched. Like I'm being serious. Like everything he does is like super calculated.
Well, Jeff and Andrew, if you're listening, we've been asking you to come on these podcasts for a long time.
For almost 10 years.
Yeah, I'd love. You know, what I would really love, and I know it would be hard because our space isn't super huge. I would love for them to come on and then do like a little performance.
Oh, we've done shows and with enough musicians for for a full orchestra in spot small.
How many people would you need for something this size?
Um,
My studio, or the Orchid House studio, is only about 500 square feet. So
No, we can definitely do if we record from the window and use this whole space properly.
I would love that.
We can get like a string quartet. We can get somebody on keys. We can get a couple people on horns, and we can just record like a dope little session in here.
I would love that, and I would love like us to get because like we've talked about this before, but we're and we've put it up on our Instagrams that we're all looking for people to come on.
Yeah, we're looking for
podcast.
artists.
But we're looking for artists specifically because we're both musicians, we're both artists, and we want that to come on here. I'm hoping like I look down the future. I'm hoping like one day we can do those. You ever hear those like
I want to be like Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk meets. There's another thing that they do in the city here. I went to one. Forget what it's called, but it's basically like people hold shows at their apartments.
Oh,
I forget what it's called, but you invite people out, and it's like 50, 60 people come.
Yeah.
There's some wine, but it's mostly held at intimate spaces. I forget what it's called, but I would love to do something like that here where we do a live recording of the podcast, and then we have maybe like Harmonic and like, Bad Guys, and maybe like, someone else come on here. We do like a mini small show.
no, we can definitely do something
Even
like
just
that.
like rent a space to do that.
I want to do, would you call it, Orchid House Live somewhere.
Ooh.
That'd be dope. That'd be so
I'm trying
dope.
to think of like places that we could do that I might have like a connection or something.
I mean, we can figure that out off camera.
Yeah. But anyway, that's definitely something in the future. But this is great. This is not sponsored by Great Jones yet.
Yeah, we would love for the people over at Great Jones to,
Seriously. We just want to chat too.
hang out with another New York, establishment and like, just kind of like chop it up and see where we can go from there.
Shop local, Shop super local. So.
Yeah, and I know it was like I remember when I was asking, like I was at Tilda Wine, I was like, do y'all have Great Jones? Because like they have all the staples, they have the Four Roses,
right?
They have the Makers,
yeah.
they have
Our
the
favorites.
Monkey Shoulder, and I was just kind of like, wait, do you have the two that I really wanted? It was Uncle Nearest, black owned,
right?
And then and fairly new, and then this, and I was like, do you have the Great Jones? And they were like, oh yeah, you just go. The guy didn't even miss a beat. He was like, oh, that's New York. You go to the New York.
That's great.
Section. I was like, that's fucking dope.
Uncle Nearest.
Yeah.
Is that you said that's upstate New York?
No, Uncle Nearest is
Kentucky.
I think it's so. Jack Daniels is Kentucky, right?
Yes.
Or Tennessee. Jack Daniels is Tennessee.
Well, that's one thing I was wondering though. So with bourbon, it's supposed to be made down in Kentucky. So I'm sure, like I'm wrong, or I'm sure that things have loosened up. Generally, bourbons are supposed to be made from corn in like Kentucky.
It's like champagne. Champagne only comes from the Champagne region of France.
I'm sure that's like things have loosened up and changed in the future. And I'm, but like I'm dying to go down in Tennessee to go to the Makers distillery down there.
Yeah. So I
make
don't
Makers.
know. So wherever Jack Daniels is from, that's where Uncle Nearest is originated at, because Nearest Green, who the company is named after, was the original master distiller at Jack Daniels.
Yes, I've heard about this guy.
He was the former slave that was the master distiller, and he taught Jack Daniels, or the one of the kids at what became the Jack Daniels distillery, how to distill, I think with charcoal, and to make Jack Daniels what it is today. So the staple that Jack Daniels is, the flavor that we know as Jack Daniels, came from Nearest Green. Okay. But they never got the credit for it. And then, after some work in the last 10 years, I forgot the beautiful sister's name, but she bought the name, and she kind of like set it up so that like she can distribute the original recipe from Nearest Green as Uncle Nearest Whiskey
Right.
under the name, and I believe the family, the descendants of Nearest, get like the proceeds or some of the proceeds of Uncle Nearest Whiskey. And there's several different versions now that they have out, which
That's
is
great.
really great.
This is another person we should reach out to. Is
Yeah, I would love to.
that should be a thing. Maybe we can go down and do something there, or maybe even just do it over Zoom. But I mean, that's another people to reach out to. But this would have been great for Patrick to be on, 'cause he could talk about this. We'll talk, more about
Patrick
and him. He's going to come on. This is going to be like a running.
This is going to be the running joke that
Yeah.
Patrick's coming on next week.
Yeah. Like it should be one of those things. Do you remember you watched Tom Green, right?
The time he's Glenn?
No,
He's
was
not
Glenn
Glenn.
the guy.
Glenn was the big chubby guy.
No, the guy that always just sat in the back behind them and drank coffee.
That was
in the
Glenn.
window.
No, not in the window. That's Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
Glenn was the guy that sat in the chair.
Right. So I want Patrick to be just like here. Like, do you listen to Tom Segura and
Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
you always hear that guy laughing in the background?
Yeah.
That's going to be our Patrick.
Yeah.
We're never going to see him, but he exists.
He exists. We're not making him up.
We're not.
We're not going to try to pay somebody to be our Patrick
No.
in the
He's
coming
not Patrick
weeks.
from SpongeBob.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking like they think they were talking about Patrick and
Oh,
SpongeBob.
this is Patrick. A show I've never actually really watched.
I watched it for like a year when I was in high school
See, I
or
know.
middle school. No, high school. And by the time I graduated high school, I was over it, and they were doing too much. They jumped the shark because they did the movie
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it became like a big thing.
They did a lot.
But like meme culture has a lot of
Oh, yeah.
SpongeBob in it.
So when we went to Comic-Con this last year, I got to meet, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but the guy that's done Doug, Ren and Stimpy, Fry from Futurama.
The guy does the voice.
The guy that
The
does the
voices.
voice, yeah.
Oh yeah, he that guy. He's as wacky as he can make his voice sound. He also did Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
met him at and this is the great thing. This is what I love when this happens. Is like we met him at like how they have the autograph section.
Yeah.
We were like one of the few last people for the day for him. So he'd probably been doing this for like 6 hours. The guy spent 20 minutes with us. He acted like we've known him for years. It was just so much fun to hang out with and so nice and so sweet. A polar opposite of who when I met one of my childhood heroes, which was the original Red Power Ranger. Jason.
Oh, okay. The Native American dude.
No, he's not Native American. Maybe he's a Native American.
I think that's why he was the Red Ranger. You don't remember the first season
Black
was
Ranger.
the Black Ranger was black, the Yellow Ranger was Asian,
The Pink Ranger was
a girl.
a hot girl.
Yeah, and then what'd you call it? I think the Red Ranger was like Native American or something.
Oh, if that's true, I didn't know that. But I met him, and I literally walked up to him and was like, and I'm sure he's probably heard this his entire career, but I'm like, I grew up on you. I remember running home from middle school to watch you. And he gave me all of 2 seconds and then just started talking to like the girl next to me for like 20 minutes.
What was the girl
I
name?
got his autograph, which is great because he then went to jail. And now he's I think he's like a crazy right-wing conspiracy guy.
Oh, that tracks.
But he went to jail for, remember back during COVID, a lot of artists got money from,
The PPP loans.
where they were supposed to use it on, and
Yeah,
who
on
else
your
did this?
business.
Lil Wayne did this.
Oh, a bunch of people did it.
They got the money and they were supposed to
I
spend it
had
on
people that in my like what you call it in my acquaintance group. I wouldn't call them friends, but like, yo, yeah, I could set you up to get the PPP.
I think we talked about this.
I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was like,
Good for you.
I don't have a business. I don't have 12, 13 employees.
Yeah.
I don't have a business address. We can take care of all that for you. I'm good. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I still got my job.
Right.
I'll be fine. And then lo and behold, Uncle Sam was like, hey, remember that loan I gave you? It was under false pretenses. So we're going to need that back,
Yep.
plus interest. And by the way, we're going to take you too.
Yeah. So that, and then the only other person I ever met at Comic-Con that was a childhood hero of mine, and he gave me a few minutes of his time, but I understand he's old, was Mick Foley. You know who Mick Foley is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mankind. Dude Love.
Dude love Cactus Jack, yeah.
A true native Long Islander.
Oh, he's from Long Island.
Oh, he's deep Long Island.
I did not know he was from Long
He's
Island.
super Long
Okay.
Island. And I met him, and it was a great time, and we chatted, and, he knows what's up. It's like, I grew up with you as a kid, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and stuff. So
I remember in, I think, the 4th grade, I had to do a project like about Long Island, and you can do whatever you want. So I was like, let's do like, the cool stuff about Long Island. So like my sister, thank you, Rose, she helped me out to make this project about Long Island celebrities.
Okay.
So like in the 4th grade, I learned that like Howard Stern,
Yep.
Eddie Murphy, Billy Joel, like
Billy
these.
Joel's the mayor of fucking Long Island.
Yeah, he is the
They
man
always
of
say
Long
it's
Island.
not summer in Long Island until Billy Joel drives his car into someone's house. So, Alec Baldwin.
The
Jerry
Baldwin brothers.
Seinfeld,
Yeah,
you
the
know.
Baldwin brothers were on that project as well. I remember Mariah Carey. Yeah, and
Mariah Carey's from Long Island.
Mariah Carey.
That I thought she was
I
from
think
Chicago.
Busta Rhymes was on that project also.
Really?
Busta Rhymes from my neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn, and then he went to high school in Uniondale.
Wow.
Yeah, he went to high school with my sister.
I love Busta Rhymes so much. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Where's Mariah Carey from?
I think she's from like Mineola or something like that.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Who else? Now you're blowing my mind. What other that you can remember? I don't know if you can remember.
From the project, it was like those people, and then like Biz Markie, I think, was on the project.
Oh.
And I didn't know Rakim was from Long Island when I did it. And then my sister told me that LL Cool J was from Long Island, but I didn't believe her, so I didn't put it on the project.
Yeah, he's from.
He's from Westbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on what you consider Long Island.
Well, he's from Westbury, but Westbury is Long Island. But
Right.
he claimed that he was from Hollis or South Jamaica, like Guy Brewer area, the hood.
Right. Well, that's like you told me that. Remember when we first started the podcast and I lived in Woodside?
Yeah.
You told me that across the street were those like.
Yeah, it looked just like Queensbridge Projects,
Yeah, like
where
where
Nas is
yeah,
from. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
So like, I think what happened with like LL, and this is what happens with just a lot of like black people in general, especially if you come up in the suburbs. If you like are black and you come up like in the suburbs, you always have like a family in the close by area that can give you street cred.
Yes.
So you have the cousins
My
that
dad.
you have the cousins that'll make you that can like verify your street cred. Like
Right.
growing up, like every Haitian kid that I knew had family in Brooklyn.
Right. Of
They had family in like Flatbush,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like that was big. That was normal in the 80s and 90s. You have if you're from Brooklyn, if you were Haitian and from Brooklyn, you were in like Flatbush.
Right, yes.
Some people in Crown Heights or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're West Indian, you were in Flatbush and Crown Heights area.
Yeah.
And then if you were in Queens, you were in like Jamaica, you were in like Hollis or like
Corona.
I don't remember that. Like I just remember where my the
Okay.
people in my family were, and then like my friends. Like I remember running into a classmate at a like party
Yeah.
for a family member in one of the boroughs.
Right.
And it was another Haitian classmate that like their family was close together because they also like lived like 2 blocks down.
Right.
So I remember just like that being a normal thing. If you were like Haitian or West Indian, you had like family in one of the boroughs. But like with LL, if you just in general, if you're black, like there's always going to be somebody in your family when your family's doing well enough to move to the suburbs. There's always still somebody in your family that's like still like over
I'm
there.
gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm good.
I'm gonna stay in this area, but yeah, that's kind of like my family situation. Like my dad grew up in East New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your dad grew up in East New York.
Oh yeah.
So your dad has
Has some street cred.
yeah. Your dad is dangerous.
Yeah. And
As per the East New York lore.
yeah, and my mom grew up in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn area. So what's funny is like where we lived as a kid, she grew up on the street, like on the street over.
Oh, that's dope.
Though, for some reason, I don't know why. I think it's because at the time my parents were going through a little bit of a financial problem. They went to live with my grandma in Malvern.
Okay.
I was technically, and this is not something I like to talk about, Phil. This is a confession on the podcast, but like technically,
Please, this is a safe space.
I am a Long Islander because I was born at Mercy Hospital in Rockville Center.
Oh, you born right by me.
Yeah, yeah, Mercy Hospital, Rockville Center.
Oh, I was born in a hospital in Queens.
Look at that! Look at that!
I was born in a hospital in Queens
But immediately,
at 8:30 at night.
I was 9:30 in the morning. Immediately, they took and we moved into our place in Bay Ridge. So I may have come into this world in Long Island, and technically my birth certificate is Mercy Hospital, which is still there at Rockville Center, Long Island. But immediately we moved to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. That's where I grew up. So it's like, did you ever watch King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Like when Hank Hill found out that he was actually born in, he was born. He wasn't born in Texas. He was born somewhere. Oh, he was born in New York.
Oh, okay.
Because his mom and dad were on vacation. He was technically born in New York.
Okay.
He, like, freaked out about it because he thought he was like born and raised in,
Dang it, Bobby.
Exactly. Dang it, Bobby. So I always think of that. But yeah, my dad grew up in East New York. Mom in Bay Ridge. So, but she lived in Long Beach for a little while, and they used to go clubbing. When it was a different kind of clubbing in Long Beach, and that's how they met and everything. Yeah.
They used to go dancing.
They used to go dancing.
They used to go dancing. And that's the thing. So
And you know where they used to go? You know Hofstra? You know where Hofstra is?
yes, it's on my block. Yeah.
Yes. You know that. remember there's a.
Not to give it all away to whoever's listening, but the Hofstra is like on my street.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. But there's a bar that's right there. It used to be called like the Social, and then it's not like something. It's like a
Bar Social. I remember Bar Social. Yeah.
That's where they met back in the day.
There was Bogarts before that.
Yeah, it was something.
And there was
like
something
back
else
in the
before
70s.
that. But yeah, I know that spot. I know exactly where that is. It's a seafood spot right now.
That place in general was crazy. I remember I went there once when it was still the Social, and as soon as I sat down with my friends, some guy came over and tried to pick a fight with me.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like it was
Nice.
a lot of Hofstra lacrosse.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was one of the times I went there, I ran into some kid I knew from church that I didn't know. We just know each other's face from church.
Yeah.
And I saw him, and it was like, like when there's people that you kind of know, it's all love, and he's just like, yeah, you don't need to pay, get in.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he looked at me, and he was like, he gave me that look like we both know that we're both too old to be in here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm not making you pay to be in
Like,
here.
does that bother you? Because like at our local bars on like Saturday nights, they have a bouncer, and like we'll go in, and then they'll like try to card us, and then they'll look at us and go, "Nah, you're good." I mean, we go there a lot, so he kind of knows who we are.
It doesn't bother me, but if I do get carded, the first thing I say, "Oh, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I'll say that like that. Oh, you're so. I'll say that you're a
You're so
sweetheart.
sweet.
Oh, you're sweet. I remember one time dude got really mad, and I was like, "Oh, you gonna take me out later?" He was like, "You obviously think I'm attractive because you asked me for my ID."
Oh.
As I'm taking it out, right, I showed it to him. He was like, "Oh, damn, son, you okay?
Yeah.
You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Unless you doing a 35 and older situation, like
No.
I'm old enough to be here." And I'm bald. Like who like I did shave my head after high school, but like who like
I remember
decides?
Phil with hair.
Yeah, I had hair for a while too.
It was.
I remember just my question: who's decides to be bald under 21? Like bald like me.
No one.
You know what I'm
No
saying?
one.
Like I'm like 8 bald.
Also, while I have you here and you're talking about your baldness, you have not baldness, but the fact that you have shaved your head.
Mm-hmm.
You have this great beard for people that can't see.
I don't, but okay.
You do.
My beard doesn't really connect too well.
No, it connects.
but
You have do you shave this or is that?
I do because it doesn't fill in. It's just
Gotcha,
real spotty
okay.
here. It's real spotty here. I don't do this. This is natural.
It looks good, but I always wanted to know for people that don't have hair on their head, where do they feel is the right spot to start the beard?
Glasses.
Glasses, okay.
Glasses.
Okay.
So I have.
Well, but if you don't have glasses, top of ear.
I guess yeah, right here where this is a good place to stop. But like for me, it's like I have like a permanent dent in my head from my glasses, so like the clippers just kind of fall right in place when I'm shaving, and then I'll just line it there, and then I'll bring the rotary shaver and just
The rotary shaver.
rub the whole
I
head.
love that. Do you wear glasses and not contacts for like fashionable reasons, or you just don't like the whole contact?
So I never got contacts.
Okay.
Like I always played ball with goggles.
Oh, okay.
Then when I played football, I didn't play football with anything because I could see well enough. Like for
You're
wrestling,
near or farsighted?
I'm nearsighted.
Okay.
And for wrestling and football, I could see enough to go to work.
Nearsighted means
You can't see far.
got it, which is like it's like one of those things where it says near, it means far.
Yeah, you're nearsighted.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. So like when I played football, I couldn't it didn't matter to me. Like,
Well,
I
because
could
you
see.
weren't a receiving.
I was a tight end.
Oh, okay.
I was a tight end. I was number 88.
Damn right you are. Sorry.
Stop it. Stop it. I was
I was a left guard.
I was a tight end for my freshman and sophomore years, and then at Kellenberg.
Kellenberg. I keep doing that.
And then when I got to my junior year, coach was like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna use you properly." And then they put me at tight tackle.
Okay.
And then I was like doing a lot of like we ran a West Coast offense. So when we ran or we did like a sweep or a pull,
Yeah.
I was the pulling tackle.
Right.
Because I was quick on my feet, like
Okay.
yeah,
Little this.
yeah. I was I'm like Uncle Rico. I was awesome. I was awesome in football. You don't understand, like
That man lived in a van. No one ever really talked about that. That man lived in a straight up van in the plains of whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm Uncle Rico for the tight tackles.
Okay.
But like when I was in high school, no, my 40 time was like 4.75. So I was quick on my feet because like I was always like jumping rope and stuff like that. I played basketball, so like I had quick feet. Yeah, I had quick feet. But like I'm gonna be honest, like, and I'm pretty sure it's even worse for most people. Like as soon as you stop high school and they stop making you do sport things, you lose all of that.
Oh yeah.
It just
Gone.
I remember I think the last time I tried to sprint was when I tried to foot race my boy Marcus. And Marcus and I used to work at a after school program.
Okay.
And I was probably like 20 at the time. So it wasn't even that long after high school.
Right.
And he would, talking, the kids were talking about who's faster, this and that. And I was just kind of like, I think I'm pretty quick because I was quick.
Yeah.
And Marcus was like, I think somebody was like, no, Marcus is faster than you because Marcus was pretty quick on his feet too. And then they were like, why don't y'all race? I was like, all right, fine. So we line up, get ready.
Break ankle.
This is how adults get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So we line up, we get ready, and somebody calls it. I take maybe like 5 steps, and I realize how like rigid I was, how slow I'd become, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And I was like, and then he turned around, he got to the end and turned back, and then he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Bro,
I'm just done."
Yeah, no, you won, you got it.
Speaking of football,
I tried to front like it was like I'm too cool for this,
Right.
But nah, it was like, nah, son, your knees.
You sit down.
You haven't. This is a muscle that you need to practice with that you haven't flexed in years. 2, but it was enough.
So speaking of football and all that, you came over for the Super Bowl. We watched the Eagles fucking beat the Chiefs. No three-peat. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes. But we don't have to talk about that. But what I would love to talk about is like,
Dun, 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 dun.
what was that?
Dun, 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 dun.
Say Drake. Let's talk about
the
that
man that has
performance.
kind of dominated the timeline.
Yeah.
Versus Donald Trump this week.
Yeah. Thankfully. I would love to know what your thoughts were on that performance. I personally, I love Kendrick Lamar. I think he's one of the greatest rappers around right now.
Yeah.
And I think he's, I don't know, am I too much for saying I think he's on par with people like Tupac?
He's definitely in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
As it stands for time now.
Right.
If we're looking at if time were to stop now,
Right.
he is definitely in the GOAT conversation with his ability to message like covertly and overtly at the same time.
Well, I think what's great about him too is remember like for a little while we had really bad rap like mumble and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
He has helped us. I feel he has helped us get out of that.
Oh yeah, he's done that. I would argue that Drake has also done that too because Drake has been a very very much a like you can understand him when he raps.
Right.
You may not like his lyrical content. I've said this to a bunch of people. Like in the battle, like I was a Kendrick fan. Same thing I was with Meek Mill when he was up against Meek, and same thing when he was up against Pusha T. Only because like Drake is not that guy.
Yeah.
Drake is not that guy, and I liked Drake for a long time because I thought Drake knew he wasn't that guy. I was like, this guy knows who he is. He leans into his corniness. He jokes around about it. He laughs at himself.
Right.
And I feel like in the last few years he stopped laughing at himself, and that's where he lost.
Okay.
I think that
Because
go ahead.
I was gonna say because didn't this whole beef thing start when Drake said something along the lines of like he was one of the 3 best rappers around right now?
So like, I think I forgot what song it was on because I didn't pay close enough attention to it. And that's the other part for me. It's like I'm not paying close enough attention to this because like, unfortunately, the songs that sparked a lot of this were not dance floor songs. And as a DJ, I'm a dance floor DJ, right? So like these aren't songs that people are dancing to. And unfortunately, I I know that he mentioned, that there's a big three, and the response from Kendrick was, fuck your big three, it's just big me, in one of his songs. So, but there's also there's a big synopsis done by Feek the Signifier. Check out his channel. He does a good
YouTube channel,
FD Signifier. He does a really good breakdown. It's a 3-hour-long video.
Wow.
Of the breakdown of this Kendrick versus Drake beef, starting with the birth of Drake's career and the birth of Kendrick's career, where it culminates into them working together and climaxes with this beef.
Wait, did they work together at some point?
They did. There's an argument that can be made that we know who Kendrick is because of Drake, because Kendrick was brought on his first major tour by Drake and Young Money.
Yeah.
So there's an argument to be made, but it was also just kind of like, he's the artist of the two. So they look at, there's some people have compared Drake versus Kendrick to Michael Jackson versus Prince.
Do they have a beef?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Michael Jackson and Prince were frenemies.
Frenemies, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it was because, when Prince was coming up, Prince didn't have the legacy of being in a boy band for 15 years before he became
right.
An artist in the 80s, whereas he just kind of came out of nowhere. And Michael Jackson, he didn't come out of nowhere. He was on tour with Rick James and all that.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson had all of the Jackson stuff, the Motown stuff to kind of stand off, all the Gamble and Huff stuff to stand on top of before he became Michael Jackson, Thriller Michael Jackson.
Right.
And that was around the time Prince was bubbling up as Purple Rain Prince or 1999 Prince. I'm not sure which album it was. But during the 80s, and that was the big heyday of them not beefing, but frenemy shit, friendly competition shit.
Right.
But the argument of that, you look at the Drake Kendrick beef and the Michael Jackson Prince beef, is that of the two, Drake and Michael Jackson are the bigger stars.
Yes, yeah.
And then Kendrick and Prince are the better artists.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that. Well, I mean, do you really think Prince is better than let's not say better. Let's just say a more talented artist than Michael Jackson?
I think that what we saw as far as art coming out of Prince versus the art coming out of Michael Jackson, yes, Prince was the better artist. And I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I grew up in a Michael Jackson house.
Same.
So I'm saying that full-heartedly knowing that I love Michael Jackson and his catalog. At the same time, I also understand that Michael Jackson was the better entertainer.
Well, that's the thing you can say is Michael Jackson was much, much more popular and much more of an entertainer. So his music style had to stay in that realm.
Yes, he had to be palatable. He had to be digestible.
Putting the hits out.
Yeah.
Where Prince
can experiment
and be weird and make some weird. So you're saying Drake has hit that level where he's fucking Drake. He's got to put out those Hotline Bling and things like that.
Yep.
Where Kendrick could be more experiment. Well, I mean, look at Kendrick Lamar's music videos versus Drake's. My favorite thing about Kendrick Lamar is his music videos. They're art forms.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Even his show at the Super Bowl.
Yes, there's so much messaging.
There was so much messaging, especially messaging about the state of this country.
Yeah.
With Samuel L. Jackson doing
playing Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the smallest pieces of that because Kendrick Lamar throws jabs in everything he does.
Right.
You know what a jab is with Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam?
Is it supposed to be like a Jim Crow thing?
No, it's a Donald Trump thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so when Donald Trump was first running for president, right, the first time.
Is this in remarks to him saying, you're too loud, you're too ghetto?
No. It's just him playing Uncle Sam.
Oh, okay.
And Donald Trump hates Sam Jackson.
Really?
He hates him. He used to tweet about him all the time, about hating him, because when he started running for president, Samuel Jackson was like, "Oh, I know this guy. This guy's an asshole. This guy cheats at golf." And then this guy tried to charge me for dues at his country club that I'm not even a member at, like stuff like that. And then it became like a feud on Twitter that nobody really knows happened. So there's like that little like jab because Kendrick Lamar knows Donald Trump's going to be at the Super Bowl. Why would he not be at the Super Bowl?
Right.
And then Sam Jackson playing basically the government.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Is like a jab at Donald Trump.
I love that.
Everything he does was messaging. Everything in that show was like a little jab at something. He was saying something. And then part of that is the issue with a lot of people that listen to music or just entertainment in general. People don't want
political messages.
They don't want messaging in their music.
Yeah.
They just give me the art. Yeah. Not even the art. Give me the chorus that I can sing along to.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the issue.
And that's funny because a lot of talk also was about Taylor Swift after that. One, because like we remember the Super Bowl last year where it was basically the Taylor Swift Super Bowl show. And this year they stopped showing her as much. But like within the past couple of weeks, Taylor Swift is starting to look more and more, I don't want to say like Republican-y, but like her boyfriend came out and said like he's glad that Donald Trump's going to be there, even though Donald Trump tweeted that he hates Taylor Swift and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that she's being associated with that, but like it's like a funny, interesting twist and differentiation and stuff.
I don't think that Travis.
That make any sense.
I don't think that Travis Kelce is like, or the Taylor Swift are taking stance as like Republican-y. Like nothing that they do, even Travis's brother, like even any of them really stand. The other one really stand on like any political ground. Like the only in that camp, if you can call it a camp.
I see Travis being a little bit.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I could see his brother not being, but I could see Travis putting on a MAGA hat and barbecuing. I can
see him putting on a hat and barbecuing.
Right.
But I don't know. And I think also because he's with Taylor, I think Taylor Swift, she's the only one, the only one in that camp that would probably be considered political because she's made political statements before and stuff. But like, you know who I can, remember Tommy Lauren? Who? Tommy Lauren? No. The blonde chick that was like super right wing for a long time and she kind of fizzled. Oh,
kind of.
Yeah.
I try to stay out of this.
I know you have the luxury of staying out of politics.
Okay. Well, okay.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I've learned a lot about that in the past few years. Yes.
So Tommy Lahren, she even made a comment recently about how she doesn't understand why Taylor Swift being shown in the Super Bowl got her booed. She's like, just because she had a political stance doesn't mean that we need to boo her. Like, she's allowed to have a political stance that differs everyone else's.
I think she was booed not because of that. I think she was booed because people were just fucking tired of having to see her.
I think that it's a mixture of that. I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I think it's more so what you said than what Tammy Lahren said.
Okay.
I also think that she's a celebrity at a sporting event, which they always show celebrities at sporting events.
I don't remember them showing any other celebrities at that event.
No, yeah, they do.
Who else did they show at that event?
They always show celebrities at sporting events.
I mean, they always show like when we went to see the Knicks and the Lakers, we saw all that. But like I'm just saying at the Super Bowl, I don't remember seeing them showing any other celebrities.
No, they do. They did.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I was also
when Tom Brady was there, we saw Giselle all the time.
That's true. I mean, I was eating a lot of spinach dip.
Spinach dip.
Yeah.
But I don't think they showed many celebrities in general this time. But like I think that they show like the celebrities that patronize and watch the games.
Yeah.
For sporting events in general, they always show them. You always see, Drake courtside at the Raptors games.
Yep.
You see Cardi B on the games. Jack Nicholson, we know that he's a season ticket holder. Spike Lee is on the sideline like he's a fucking coach with his hand on his hips.
Oh my God.
So like we're allowed to see Spike Lee at the level that we see Spike Lee at the games, but like because Taylor Swift is there, we get mad.
Spike Lee makes himself that. I remember when we went to see the Lakers versus the Knicks. He is like, he gets on the floor.
He's the coach. He's the coach. He's the honorary coach.
He's the only person completely decked out in Knicks gear, getting onto the court and yelling at them. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what he's doing. What are
It
you
was
doing?
great. It was so much fun to
Yeah.
just watch like Spike Lee and the game.
Yeah, he gets on there with his hands on his hips like a mad auntie, and then he's like, what is going on here? What are y'all doing?
Oh,
I met Spike Lee. Spike
You
Lee's a
did?
nice guy. Yeah, I met
I'm
him
sure
twice.
he's super
I met him
awesome.
twice. One time during COVID, we were shooting. I was doing the Black Business Branding campaign with Natalie.
Nice.
Where we did the raffle for Black business owners to do headshots.
Okay.
And then we did headshots at Greenpoint Park.
Oh, nice.
And he was shooting one of his shows there.
What
and
show?
I think it was the She's Gotta Have It show. Or
Oh, I know that was a show.
yeah, and then it was a Netflix show for a little while. I think I'm not sure. I could
He's
be
like
completely
one of
wrong.
those directors, like Quentin Tarantino. He's done like, how many movies has he really done?
He's probably done 20 movies.
Oh, really? Oh, I know
Yeah.
that much. That's I know. She's the crap.
She's Gotta Have It.
Yep.
What you call it? Do the Right Thing.
Right. Yep.
He did Panther. He did Malcolm X.
Panther, not Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Oh, he did.
Like about the Black Panther.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh, he did the Marvel movie.
Yeah. No.
My
no.
white ass knows that one.
No, he did Panther,
Okay.
which was about
He
the
did
Black
Malcolm X
Panthers.
with,
He did Malcolm X
Denzel?
with Denzel, yeah. He did, I might be wrong on the 20. He did 25th Hour with, what's his name? Who's the Incredible Hulk? Not the first one, not Ed Norton.
You're not
Yeah.
talking about American History X.
No, he didn't do that one. I don't know who did that one.
I don't know who did that either, but that's a great movie.
Yeah. But Spike Lee's done a bunch of movies. But yeah, he is definitely in the same lane artistically as a Quentin Tarantino because like their movies are not just movies. There's like an artistic flow and certain signature things that he does. Like he does the dolly shot.
Oh, I love that shot. Oh, I hit the mic. I love that shot. So
The dolly shot, he does that in
Where
so
they're,
many
like,
movies.
levitating
Almost
almost?
like
Yeah.
they're levitating.
Yes, I
Yeah,
love
the
that
dolly shot. He
shot.
loves he does the dolly shot. So like he's got like an artistic the horns. The music in the background is always like brass instruments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he does like anytime I hear horns and stuff, it's like overwhelming. I'm like, this fucking sounds like a Spike Lee movie.
I love the horns.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that dolly like levitation kind of zoom thing he does and stuff like that. But besides all the political stuff, like I thought I have two thoughts on the Super Bowl performance. One, I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was well done. All the symbolism, all the thing, all the
things.
like the not the symbolism, but like what's the other thing? The meanings, like the subliminal meanings behind it and everything. But
it was low energy.
it was a little low energy and a
was.
little.
You had to want to get the message to enjoy it.
Because like I remember last year when they had last year Eminem 50 and
It was a couple years ago, and Kendrick.
Kendrick, yeah,
And
that
Dre
was
and
great.
Kendrick.
And like also we all remember like the Michael Jackson performance.
That was the one. That was the first one.
Oh, that was the first one.
That was the first
okay.
big Super Bowl performance.
Okay.
Like so, the year before that,
They had a guy.
they just had like a marching band and stuff like that. They had some really country, and when I say country, not country music, like some real like local shit.
Yeah.
At the Super Bowl and the Living Color.
The show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Living Color.
Wait,
on
the TV show or the
TV show.
Okay. All right.
With Keenan Ivory Wayans and the
Yes,
Wayans family
yes.
and Jim Carrey. They had a Super Bowl special.
Okay.
The same time the Super Bowl halftime show was happening on Fox. So like you could go to Fox and watch the Super Bowl special that In Living Color was hosting, a live version, and their numbers were like ridiculous, and they pulled so many viewers from the Super Bowl that the next year they were like, we're not letting this happen ever again.
Yeah.
And then boom, Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Is like I loved the performance. I thought it was great. I loved every single second of watching. I loved all the music and the symbolism. I loved the guys that were just chilling on top of the lamppost. That was one of my favorite
dope.
things. But I will agree that it was a little low energy.
I said it that day. We
Yeah.
were watching. I was like, this is kind of low energy. But like for me, what I liked about it, I liked that it was low energy because I could absorb. I
Yes.
can digest everything that I was getting because I was the first one in the room. I was like, oh, that's a video game. That's a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
Remember when I did that?
Yeah,
I was like, oh, and then like I didn't notice that was like a street. Like I noticed the street lights, but I didn't notice
Right.
there was a whole street.
Right. And I do love the fact that like for a moment he teased he wasn't going to play Not Like Us.
Yeah,
And
that was
great.
dope.
And then he just jumped right into. I guess because we were all thinking he wasn't going to do it because of the
Yeah.
legality
Yeah.
shit going on right
Yep.
now with Drake and stuff. So
Yeah, it was good, and like so a lot of the detractors or the critiques of it was like, we don't even know who this guy was. It's like
come on.
that's some bullshit because
You're
like,
actively not trying to know who that is.
You actively don't care because it's like he's like, even if you're not a fan and you just want to be like, what qualifications does he have to be on stage? Well, he just the week before won 7 Grammys.
Yeah.
The week before,
Yeah.
he won 7 Grammys. And then while he walked up on stage to pick up his Grammy, one of them, the entire venue shouted A minor. So
I love that.
And then when he did the A minor at at the Super Bowl, everybody was was in formation.
But one thing I'm trying to see if this compares to is like, do you think with him and Drake, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Do you think we're going to see something similar to like what happened with Biggie and Tupac with them? Do you see like hitting it? I don't see violence. I feel like the community has come past violence.
Well, you could say the same. The sentiment was there, when Biggie and Pac were beefing. So, I don't know.
Because Biggie and Pac were close.
They were friends.
Until it's from what I've seen, it seems like Pac got a little too paranoid with things that were going on.
He got before he went to prison. He got shot.
Right.
It was at the studio in New York City
And
where
someone was killed.
Where Big was recording.
Yeah. But do you see this going that way, or do you see this eventually just like fading into the ether?
I think it's gonna fade into. I hope it fades into the ether.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't linger too long. I do appreciate it because I've always been a fan of the sport of hip hop.
Yeah.
And in form, we had breakdancing at the Olympics. Breakdancing is one of the 4 pillars of hip hop.
Remember why we have break?
Yes. So breakdancing was in the Olympics this year.
That's awesome.
And, that's one of the pillars of hip hop. And that is one of the sport aspects of hip hop because the competition has always been part of every pillar in hip hop. There's the DJ battle.
Yeah.
There's the graffiti battle. There's the MC battle, which is Drake and Kendrick right now.
Right.
And then there's the breakdance battle. Like there's always been that showing who's betterness of hip hop.
Right.
Like there's always been that friction amongst artists, like hip hop is definitely the art form where people you're the biggest. You beat it's a chest beating art.
Yeah.
There's competition and we've always had competition in hip hop. There's always been going all the way back to before hip hop was recorded on record. Hip hop was about the sound clash. This DJ crew versus this DJ crew who has the biggest sound.
I came across a TikTok, now that you're talking about the DJ stuff, I came across a TikTok recently talking about kind of like the beginnings and births of hip hop. And it was something I found it really blew me away where they were talking about back in the day.
Which was a Wednesday, by the way.
Right. A lot of musicians had drums and they had guitars, but people in the black community couldn't afford that stuff. All they had were their parents' records.
Yeah.
And they took those records and they turned it into. It's incredible. It
turned into an instrument.
They turned a record into they invented a new instrument for a new type of genre.
So because they were already sampling before Roland as a company released a sampler. Yeah. Before it was a piece of equipment that actually can do this thing that people had been doing for 10, 12 years before. Because the date that they mark is 73, right? August 73.
Okay.
Right?
What is the significance behind that?
That's the first hip hop party. It wasn't called that at the time, but it's the earliest roots of DJ Kool Herc getting on, throwing a party, and
Where was
that
it?
party in the Bronx, South Bronx,
Okay.
Theater Sedgwick.
Okay.
He throwing a party for his little sister in the rec room in their
Like Knights of Columbus kind of thing.
no, in the rec room at their apartment complex.
Oh, I love rec room parties. I grew up at rec room parties in the basement.
And he was like, I'm going to do something different tonight. And then he was like, I'm going to do something called the merry-go-round. And what he would do is he would just do take the break of the record, the drum break,
Yeah.
and then just loop the drum breaks back and forth and go from drum break to drum break. And because he was like, in his time DJing, he saw that when he got to the break of a song or the break of a record, that's when people went crazy. So rather than wait for the break, he would just drop the song at the break, and he was doing that night, and that was when like hip hop started, and it had nothing to do with rapping. It was just DJing and dancing,
That's awesome.
you know. And then like the rapping part comes around, like, you know, making announcements, talking to the crowd and stuff like that, and, you know, doing it in a fashionable manner. So because in the disco era, the disco DJs, which is what hip hop comes out of, the disco DJs were already talking in rhyme because that was cool.
Right.
You know, and then like you kind of build on that, and you just build verses and structure until you got a song.
I love that. I love that. Like it was all basically birthed in the Bronx. Like it is a New York thing. I mean, it's always been a New York thing, but I just love that. Like, I really love the fact that an instrument was created from things that we already had, and then it's just like slowly progressed to where we are now.
No, it's the hip hop is the story of not having. Seriously, because
that's absolutely right.
Because you got it was like in the 70s in the South Bronx, the Bronx was literally burning. They were these building owners were burning their buildings because they were getting the insurance money for them.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've talked to my dad. I always said to my dad, I was like, why in the 70s was the Bronx like, it looked like a military war zone? He's like, because of that, and that.
Yeah.
No.
And then, when people start moving out, you start losing money in taxes that's going to the schools. When schools start losing money, the first thing they take out, sports program and a music program.
Yeah.
So these kids got something to say. They want to learn. They want to say something on the music. You don't have an outlet for them to be creative. Hip hop.
Right there, what you just said is kids got something to say. That's why, like, I know a lot of people that are very, like, and I don't want to really get into the whole politics of it, but, like, it's not about this show. But a lot of people are like, oh, this stuff about, the Gen Z getting on about this and Gen Z getting on about that. I have always been a supporter of the Gen Z people getting up and talking about shit. Because,
I agree. Like, continue, but I agree.
Every generation has something that they care about, and if we bullshit and get on them about doing it, we're gonna lose. Like, look where we are right now in this fucking country. Like, we need the youth and people fighting about shit.
No, if you look back into history, every aspect or every big change has come from like people under 30, under 25.
Yeah.
Like getting together and making a movement.
That's why, like, when I have people that tell me, oh, they get sick of Gen Z, I go, yeah, I think about me when I was their age and when I was rebelling against it.
Yeah, what were your gripes when you were 20?
Exactly. So
when you were 25. And realistically, Gen Z, they're in their mid-20s. Yeah. So they're not even young anymore.
No.
They're not in high school.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're in their mid-20s.
We're getting to Gen Alpha. I'm curious to see what Gen Alpha is going to do.
Yeah. So, and I think...
rights.
Children's rights. I think that, like, people, like, they get frozen in time. I was telling Natalie this, like, what you call it, when you look at guys, the way they dress, especially older men,
yeah,
they dress basically, they dress now however they were dressing when they were getting pussy.
Okay, so
when they started getting pussy, when they were outside, when they was like doing it, whatever it was, whatever they were doing, that's how older guys dress. And a lot of people get frozen in time. How it relates is how a lot of people get frozen in time with what the era that was important to them or big for them, so they don't even appreciate that everybody goes through that, and they're gonna have their time and their gripes and their thing that they're frustrated about.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pause you on that one because you bring up a really good point that I want to talk about with myself about that. That is a great point. It's something I've been thinking about. I just turned 41. Jesus Christ, and that what you just mentioned is something I've thought about. You probably have noticed, maybe in the past year or so, that my style has changed a little.
Yeah,
it's still generally in the same lane of the style I've always had. But it's like, look, I have a fucking hat on. I have fucking rings on. Look, I have a scarf on. And that is because I one day just was like, oh my God, I'm still dressing very much like how I dressed when I was in my early 20s. And I want to grow as an adult and grow in my fashion sense. And now I've taken on this new, like, I'm still me. I'm still who I am, but I have this new fashion sense that I'm really cultivating. And that goes in line basically what you were saying. It's funny that you bring that up because I've been thinking about that recently, like as I'm doing all these new things with my wardrobe and stuff, that it kind of shows me that I always want to stay kind of in touch with like the younger generation. You know, I don't want to be a Drake over here, you know. To go
That's
back
the wrong
to Drake.
kind of touch
Yeah,
with the
I don't
younger
wanna
generation.
That kind of touch, but I want to stay. You know, I'm not saying like when I'm 68 years old, I'm going to be wearing skinny jeans and a sideways hat. Not that that would be anything I would ever do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I know what you're talking about there because I'm seeing that in my life right now where I'm kind of like adjusting my style to fit more to my age, but also stay kind of hip. And granted, we live in an area that's very, you know, hip and.
So I'm going to say.
This is where Phil takes down my entire fashion.
I'm not going to take down your entire
You're the one that
fashion
said
sense.
you were so happy I started wearing rings.
Yes. I was going to say
hate the
that.
hat, don't you?
No, I don't hate the hat.
Okay, good.
The reason why, this is what I'm saying, the reason why
nervous.
it took you so long is because white boys don't hold each other accountable for their gear. Yeah, I don't. Like
We talked about.
I'm gonna be honest. Growing up, if like black and Latino, you cannot walk out the house looking crazy.
No, you're right.
You can't look. No, not even crazy. You're looking lazy.
You're
like
right.
you didn't put thought into what you wear.
Absolutely.
You can't like this like Walmart attire, walking out of the house and going to the Walmart in your pajamas. That bullshit. At least when I was coming up, somebody was waiting for me on my block to roast me. With what I was wearing, just to make sure that you're not out here looking crazy. And we used to like get roasted for anything. Your shoes are crazy. Your shoes, if they're supposed to be white and they're kind of gray because they're dirty, you're getting roasted. Your shoes got creases in them, you're getting roasted. You don't have lotion on, you're getting fucking roasted.
Yeah.
Bro, this is that's one of the things that I think that is like clothes and dancing. That is the thing that white boys don't hold each other accountable for.
That's why I like to say I'm not a typical white boy because I'm trying to get better with my fashion now, but I know how to dance, and I think that's
probably because you're Italian,
and I'm a drummer.
And your dad probably came up in the Saturday Night Fever era.
Yes. Well, no, he was more of a rocker guy, but he grew up in the doo-wop era. He was a doo-wopper. He used to go down under the bridge and do doo-wop with his boys.
You keep saying that.
He'll tell you that shit.
Yeah.
But I know how to dance because of that, and also I never wanted to be a white guy that couldn't dance, and also I was a drummer, so I have that natural rhythm and timing and stuff like that. I do, I know. Ask the ladies.
But in general, there's like when it comes to like style,
You're right. You're absolutely
there's like
it's a white privilege thing right there.
I guess it's a white privilege thing. There's also like my like non-scientific hypothesis in this space probably has something to do with its relation to minorities and the homosexual community, because both style and dancing can be tied to both of those communities if you want to make them negative.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because like I remember like being in high school and being in private school, and it was just kind of like all the brothers knew how to dance. The few Latin kids that went to school with me knew how to dance, but like the white boys that didn't know how to dance, or it was almost like I don't do that because that's gay. Kind of like remember that energy?
Yes.
That late 90s, early 2000s energy was like I don't do that because that's gay.
Yep.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it was just kind of like, okay. But like when you get to prom, your girl's going to want to dance.
I don't, and it's very interesting because like I think about my life and myself and how at that time period, I never conformed to that. I was more of the, and I hate using the fucking word, I got more into like that when the metrosexual thing became
I got called that so much in like the early 2000s.
But I've always like kind of, and I am, I'm a straight man, but I've always very been aligned with like, and worked a lot because I was the fat weird kid in high school, so I became friends with the gays and the weird. So I've always had that like connection to that field. And again, I'm not part of that community. I consider myself what they call an ally, but having that connection has helped me stay fashionable and all that. I don't know.
I know where you're going. I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. No, I think
I love the Golden Girls. I love designing women, and one of my favorite movies is The Birdcage.
That's a movie that plays at my house a lot. My mom watches The Birdcage. It doesn't matter when it comes on.
That movie with your mom.
If a network is broadcasting The Birdcage, my mom is going to find it and watch it. She's a Robin Williams fan.
Oh my
She's
God.
a Robin Williams fiend.
Oh my God!
But
I miss Robin Williams I had a dream about him the other night.
gay. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that. Continue.
I miss Robin Williams tremendously. He was part of my childhood. I love The Birdcage. I will watch it with your mom. I had a dream about him the other night where he was like, he and I were just chatting at a party and stuff. I miss him so much.
Yeah, no, my mom loves The Birdcage. She loves Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, Miss Doubtfire, classic.
Yeah, she loves Mrs. Doubtfire. She loves The Birdcage.
Aladdin.
She doesn't. She's not really into Aladdin because it's not obviously Robin Williams because it's animated.
Yeah.
You know, but she likes those movies and like whatever other movie where he's super animated, doing craziness. She likes that stuff.
Okay.
You know,
like Good Will Hunting.
I don't even think she registers that he's in that movie.
He's just.
You know, it's too dramatic for her. I remember like by the time I was like in middle school, my mom was over dramatic movies. She was like, I don't know, give me funny.
Give me funny.
She's like, my life has been hard enough. Give me funny.
Give me funny. I feel like we can put a button on this one.
Yeah, let's do that.
I feel like that was a perfect way to end the whole situation where we talk about Robin Williams. But you did like the Kendrick Lamar? Like we've buttoned that up.
Yeah, no, I liked the show. I thought it was great. I thought that it felt good. It felt really cool to like learn all the different because I didn't see everything at once. There was some stuff I was like, oh, I got it. Like Serena, I got it right away. The controller, I got it right away. The Serena on 2 levels, I got it right away because
I had no idea that was Serena.
Oh,
I
okay.
had no idea that was. I had no idea that Serena and Drake dated. Mm-hmm. No idea about that. So someone had to tell me that. And then also I missed when he said, "Hey Drake," because I remember we were at the party and he said, "Hey Drake," and everyone got in an uproar. I was like, "What just happened? What happened?" I missed that whole.
It wasn't just he said it, but he looked dead into Drake's soul. Like if you were watching, because you can see the screenshot, he looks like you look at where the camera is. He looked right into the camera,
through the camera.
Yes, into Drake's soul
and everything.
So it was that, but like so there was. To the point of Samuel L. Jackson kind of being like, don't do this. You got to make it easy, make it nice, make it palatable.
Yeah.
That was one of the messages from the Serena thing because Serena got fined by the U.S. Open for doing the dance that she did on stage with Kendrick.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 layers of her existence on that stage because it was on the one layer of, we're doing this messaging of like, as black people, we're being told not to do too much, not to be too loud, not to be too
ghetto.
Yes, right. And then on the other part of it was, that's Drake's ex. And
I didn't even know that. I did not know.
I used to say Drake is like. There was a time, like I said, I've been a Drake fan. I don't hate him. I just think in this beef, I'm leaning more towards Kendrick because I'm a hip hop head. Yeah. And Drake's a pop star.
Yes.
Right? But I used to say, I've said it up until maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Drake has taken down most of my hit list. Like, you have a celebrity hit list of women that you're just like, I would, if I could, I would, if I could, I would. Drake has cleared
your whole list.
He is snowplowed that whole list. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? If somebody from 1986 is going to get it, let it be you.
There you go. And on that, I think, because we're running out of battery on this camera over here, too. We got to find if I have my...
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I think 75 minutes is enough.
Yeah, so that's for sure. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to have... Tell them who we're going to have really quickly next week.
We're going to have James Brownboy, DJ Brownboy. He is one of the DJs out of my crew, one of my crews, because I'm in several crews, but the crew that I'm recently part of is Geek Chic DJs. He's also one of the guys that's got me a bunch of gigs. I throw him work every once in a while. He's at STK. He's at Swingers, Crazy Golf Club. He's at Tao Uptown. So he's at a bunch of spots. Okay. He's doing a lot of work. He's making a lot of noise in the city. So he's gonna come and talk with us next week, drink some whiskey or bourbon, and then he's gonna spin a set for us.
Yes, he's gonna spin a live set, and I'm very excited about that. And
he saw my set, and he was like, "Yo, put me on your podcast, bro."
And if anybody out there knows more people that want to be on the podcast, yourself, other people that are talented artists, tell them about us. Get us in touch with them. We want them on here.
Yes, we are looking for local artists in New York. So, you know, any of the 5 boroughs, if you're willing to come to Brooklyn, come chill with us, have a few drinks with us, and then
Free whiskey.
you know, we can record a semi-professional level video for you that you can use for your promos as long as you promo us.
There you go.
So, with that, I'm Phil, I'm your homeboy.
I'm Ryan, I'm your hipster.
Drinks up.
Drinks up. Cheers.